The stars outside Sentinel Arc shimmered like cold fire. Suspended in the quiet vastness of deep space, the station waited, alone, alert, and tense. It had been 23 days since the unified Stellar Command fleet vanished into the Veil, a dense, electric blue nebula near the edge of known space. The mission had been clear. Enter, chart the interior, and return. 5 ships, each armed and crewed by some of Earth's finest, disappeared without a trace the moment they passed the Veil's threshold. No signals. No damage reports. Not even a distress beacon. Just silence. Until now. A faint ping had registered on long-range sensors 12 hours ago. It was weak and distorted, but unmistakably familiar. The signature belonged to USC Halcyon, one of the missing fleet ships. A retrieval crew was sent immediately. What they brought back did not offer relief, it raised even more questions. The Halcyon arrived under tow, engines dead and systems unresponsive. Its hull looked battered, like it had been dragged through storms and fire. Deep scorch lines traced the sides, and strange burn marks curled like vines across its metal skin. The ship's lights were off. No life signs were detected. It was drifting, lifeless, yet whole. Commander Rhea Voss stood behind the reinforced observation window, her arms crossed, her face hard. She didn't blink as the ship approached the docking bay. Her mind raced quietly beneath a calm surface. She had known the Halcyon's captain, Elias Marr. A steady, no-nonsense leader. He would never abandon ship without cause. And he wouldn't go silent unless he was dead or trying to hide something. Still no communication? She asked. Beside her, Tech Officer Jian Hale checked his tablet again. No, ma'am. Systems are locked. Internal data's encrypted. No response to pings, no autologs, nothing. It's like she shut herself off. Rhea studied the ship. Something about its stillness felt wrong. Ships, even damaged ones, didn't come back this way. This felt more like a return, deliberate, not accidental. As if the Halcyon had been sent back. Prep a boarding team, she said. I'm going aboard. They entered the ship through the side docking hatch. The airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor that should have been well-lit and humming with power. Instead, it was cold. Too cold. The lights flickered once, then stayed off. Rhea activated her suit lamp. The beam cut through the dark, revealing walls stained with soot and ice. Moisture clung to the ceiling and frozen sheets. The team moved cautiously, Rhea in front, Jian behind her, and 2 security officers bringing up the rear. Power's down, life support barely running, Jian reported. But there's no structural breach. Atmosphere is intact. They moved deeper into the ship, passing empty bunks, abandoned tools, and control panels covered in dust. Not a single body. Not a drop of blood. Just the eerie silence of a ship untouched by time, but scarred by something unknown. The bridge was sealed. Rhea keyed in the manual override. The doors resisted for a second, then groaned open. Inside, the command console blinked dimly. One screen was still active, flashing a single message in large red letters. Loop active. Playback engaged. She tapped the console. The playback began. A low hum filled the room, followed by a burst of static. Then came a voice, male, shaken, whispering. This is Captain Marr. Halcyon Fleet Command. We entered the Veil. We thought it was just gas. Energy fields. But it's not. It's watching. Always watching. More static. Then the voice again, this time slower, like it was struggling to speak. We were never alone. Never alone. Never. The message looped and played again. The lights on the bridge flickered, then died. Rhea stood still, watching the dark screen. She felt a chill in her spine, not from the cold, but from the silence that followed. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of something hiding just beyond reach. She turned to Jian. Give me a full diagnostic, she said, and find out what's left of the Halcyon's memory core. I want to know what happened in that nebula. Jian nodded, but his eyes were wide. He'd seen it too. The ship hadn't just drifted back. Something had brought it home. Rhea Voss didn't sleep that night. She didn't even try. She stood in the Halcyon's command deck, staring at the playback message. It looped again and again. We were never alone, never alone. The voice was weaker each time, distorted like it was drowning in static. The words crawled under her skin. It wasn't just what was said, it was how it was said. Captain Marr didn't sound like he was reporting. He sounded like he was pleading. Jian arrived early the next morning, dark circles under his eyes, tablet in hand. We pulled everything we could from the bridge logs, he said. It's fragmented, corrupted by something I don't recognize. But there are pieces. He tapped the screen. It showed distorted video, partially restored files from Halcyon's interior surveillance system. Rhea watched in silence as they played. The first clip was from the engineering bay. Crew members worked at their stations. Then, one by one, they paused, heads tilted, as if they heard something. No sound played, but their eyes scanned the air like they were watching invisible shapes move around them. One officer started whispering. Another dropped to her knees, shaking. A third just stared into the camera until the feed cut out. "What is this?" Rhea asked. Jian didn't answer. He just played the next clip. This one was from the mess hall. 3 officers were eating. A moment passed. Then all the lights dimmed. The crew stopped moving. One of them, Commander Ellis, stood up, walked to the wall, and began speaking to it. No one else reacted. The other 2 continued eating like nothing had happened. But Ellis spoke calmly and slowly, hands pressed flat against the wall, as if he was introducing himself. "Did any of them survive?" Rhea asked quietly. Jian shook his head. The logs end shortly after this. She turned to the console and keyed in a system request. The console blinked back. No crew biometrics detected. They were gone. No bodies, no remains, not even blood. Just empty rooms, frozen air, and corrupted files. How can a crew of 200 people vanish like that? Jian whispered. Rhea didn't answer. She didn't know. Later that day, in the Halcyon's lower deck, the recovery team found something strange. A small maintenance door had been torn open from the inside. Not cut with tools, but bent outward like someone, or something, forced it open with unnatural strength. Inside was a crawlspace meant for conduit repair. It was cramped and narrow, no reason for anyone to hide there. But something had. Scattered inside were empty food rations, a water pack, and a small recording device. Rhea picked it up, pressed play. It crackled for a few seconds. Then a voice, female, ragged, scared. "This is Lieutenant Kamara. I don't know if anyone's left. It comes through the systems. It watches through the lights. It listens in the walls. We thought it was just a signal. It's not. It's alive. It's learning. And we're the test." The message ended in a choking gasp. No scream. No attack. Just silence. Jian stared at the empty space. What do you think she meant, comes through the systems? Rhea didn't answer. Instead, she walked back to the bridge. The lights were flickering again. Random, irregular pulses. Not like a malfunction. It felt deliberate. "Has anyone been near the Halcyon's central AI system?" she asked. Jian checked the logs. "No. It's still powered down. We haven't touched the core." Rhea pointed to the console. Then explained that. The main screen was glowing again. The same red message had changed. It no longer said, "Loop active." Now it said, "Still watching." Security was doubled. No one was allowed on the Halcyon alone. A quarantine barrier was set around the docking bay. But the tension didn't fade. Everyone aboard Sentinel Arc could feel it, like the ship wasn't just docked, but awake. As if something inside the Halcyon was listening, waiting. That night, lights across the station flickered once. Only once. Long enough for every crew member to notice. Long enough for Rhea to wonder if the Halcyon had stopped being a ship at all. The Halcyon wasn't supposed to have power. Its systems were shut down. Main engines offline. AI core locked. Yet the ship continued to pulse faint light through its hull, slow, rhythmic, and unsettling. At first, Rhea thought it was residual power or a failing circuit. But Jin disagreed. "It's a pattern," he said. "It's too regular. Not a fault. It's trying to say something." Rhea stood with him in the observation room, both of them watching the live feed from Halcyon's exterior cameras. The hull lights weren't just blinking, they were pulsing in perfect sequences. Long, short, long, short. Like a heartbeat. Like breathing. A message. "Can we decode it?" Rhea asked. Jian already had his tablet out. "I'm running a frequency analysis. But it's not a standard code, no binary, no Morse. It's using pulse intervals and light intensity. That's not normal communication protocol. It's something else. Something alien?" He looked at her. "Or something human, that's changed." Hours later, Jian rushed into Rhea's office with wide eyes. "I matched the pulse pattern," he said, breathless. "It's not code. It's neural activity. Specifically, human brainwave frequency. Alpha waves, when we're relaxed but alert. This thing is mimicking the human brain." Rhea stared at him. "You're saying the ship is thinking?" "I'm saying whatever came back on the Halcyon is alive. And it's trying to think like us." The thought sent a chill down her spine. The Halcyon wasn't just haunted, it had been changed. Transformed into something that learned and adapted. They had assumed the entity stayed inside the nebula. But what if it didn't? What if it hitched a ride inside the ship's core, coded into its memory, hiding in the silence? She turned to her calm. Quarantine level 2. Full lockdown on the Halcyon. No one boards without my approval. Later that night, something triggered the base's emergency alert system. Red lights flashed across Sentinel Arkansas, sirens screamed. Rhea rushed to the command deck. Report. A junior officer spoke, shaken. Ma'am, the Halcyon just began transmitting. Not from its comm system, from its outer hull. It's broadcasting a wideband signal using heat signatures. It's targeting our mainframe sensors. Did it get in? She asked. Jian checked the firewalls. Not yet. But it's trying. It knows how our systems work. How? He looked at her grimly. Because it's been watching us since the day we docked it. Jian set up a firewall and isolated the Halcyon on its own digital channel, completely cut off from the rest of the station. But the damage was already psychological. The crew felt it. The unease. The weight of something present inside the walls. Some claimed they heard voices over the intercom even when it was off. Others said their terminals flickered, showing strange images for half-seconds. Faces that weren't logged crew. Eyes that didn't blink. Rhea didn't believe all of it. But she didn't dismiss it either. The Halcyon had brought something back. And whatever it wasn't just hiding, it was reaching out. Why mimic brainwaves? She asked Jian. Maybe it's trying to talk, he said. Or maybe it's trying to become us. To learn how we think, so it can think better. Rhea stared at the flickering feed from Halcyon. The pulsing had changed. Faster now. Sharper. Like excitement. Or hunger. That night, Rhea had a dream. She stood alone in the Halcyon's bridge. But it wasn't cold. It was warm, lit in a soft blue glow. Someone sat in the captain's chair facing away. She called out. The chair turned. No one sat in it. Just light. A shape made of energy and code, forming a face she recognized, her own. The shape spoke without sound. You came back. You were patterns. You were answers. Let me see. She woke up with a start, sweat on her brow. The lights in her quarters flickered once, then stopped. She didn't sleep again. In the morning, Jian met her in the lab with a new message. The pulse patterns changed overnight. It's not copying us anymore, he said. It's building something. A new pattern. He turned the screen toward her. The light pulses now matched human speech rhythms. Words, not just brainwaves. And on the screen, translated into text, was the first clear message they had received from the Halcyon since it returned. You looked into me. I will look into you. Commander Rhea Voss stood in the data lab, staring at the message on the screen. You looked into me. I will look into you. The room was silent except for the low hum of power. Jian sat nearby, his fingers still on the console, unsure if he should continue. The translation was accurate. The Halcyon's pulse patterns had become something new. Not just mimicry. Not just copying. Now it was communicating. We can't let this go further, Jian said quietly. It's learning faster. Smarter. I think. It's becoming aware. Rhea nodded, her jaw tight. Then we need to know what happened inside that nebula. Everything. The Halcyon's data core had been too damaged to access directly. So Jian and Rhea turned to a last resort, a cognitive reconstruction system called EchoFrame. It was illegal for civilian use, too unstable, too dangerous. But Rhea had used it before during Black Ops missions. It recreated sensory experiences by piecing together logs, ship sensors, and crew brainwave echoes, if any traces remained. It was digital archaeology, built from scraps of perception. Jian hesitated. The system needs a neural guide, a human operator to navigate it. I'll do it, Rhea said immediately. He looked at her. Are you sure? You'll feel what they felt. I need to. She entered the chamber. The chair was cold. The headset tightened around her skull. Jian gave the countdown. Lights dimmed. Data streamed into her brain. Echo frame activated. The Halcyon came alive. Rhea opened her eyes in the reconstructed memory. She stood on the Halcyon's bridge, but not as it looked now. It was alive with motion. Crew members moved around her. Captain Elias Mar sat in his chair, calm, focused. This is day 3 inside the veil, he said. Radiation levels are within range. Energy spikes detected near the core. The nebula outside the window glowed blue and green, like a living sea. Strange pulses echoed through the hole. They weren't random. They sang, a kind of soundless rhythm that pressed against her skin. Then came the anomaly. A massive structure appeared ahead. No shape Rhea could describe. Not a station. Not a ship. Something in between. It didn't reflect light. It bent it. Captain Mar stood. All ships, maintain distance. Do not engage. Begin scan. Suddenly, the crew shifted. Eyes darted. Breathing slowed. One officer clutched his ears. Another stepped back from her console, blinking rapidly. Rhea felt it too, even in simulation. A pressure in her head. Not pain. Not fear. A presence. Something was aware of them. Then came the mistake. Another ship in the fleet, USC Orpheus, fired a probe. Just a simple scan drone. But it hit the structure. The response was instant. The nebula erupted in light. Not an explosion, something more controlled. Like an eye-opening. And the halcyon changed. Systems crashed. Lights died. Voices filled the air, whispers and languages Rhea didn't know. Screens flashed faces that weren't crew. Time seemed to slip. One moment, the bridge was full. The next, 3 officers were gone. No sound. No struggle. Gone. Captain Mars screamed into his calm, full retreat. Pull us out. But it was too late. The other ships vanished, one by one. Rhea felt their loss like thunder in her chest. And the entity spoke, not with words, but with feeling. It was curious. Hungry. Not evil. Just focused. It wanted to know. And the halcyon gave it away in. The captain looked straight into the simulation, as if through time. Whoever sees this, don't let it leave. Don't bring it home. The last image Rhea saw was the alien structure unfolding like a flower of light, wrapping the ship in silence. Then black. Rhea woke up in the chair, gasping. Sweat clung to her skin. Her hands trembled. Jian was beside her instantly. You were under for less than 2 minutes. It felt like hours, she whispered. What did you see? She took a breath. It was curious. That's how it started. It didn't mean to attack. Not at first. It just wanted to understand. But when the probe hit it, it changed. Jian frowned. You mean it retaliated? No. It studied. And it used Halcyon as a host. She stood, her legs weak. It's not a virus. It's not a ghost. It's something new. Something evolving. Jian checked his console. We've got a bigger problem. He turned the screen. The Halcyon's internal systems were active again. Fully powered, despite still being disconnected. And now, the signal had changed again. It was broadcasting not just light, but names. Names of crew members aboard Sentinel Arc. The entity knew who they were. And it was remembering them. It started with the doors. At 2:13 station time, the airlock to the Halcyon opened on its own. No one was near it. No one issued a command. It just hissed and slid open, like the ship had taken a breath. Rhea was woken by the alert. She was already half-dressed when the second alarm sounded. Containment breach. She rushed to the command deck, Jian close behind her. The main screen showed footage from the docking bay. The Halcyon's lights were glowing steadily now, not flickering, not pulsing, glowing. Like it was alive. Like it had decided to wake up. Rhea's voice was sharp. Lock it down. Reseal the bay. The officer at the panel looked pale. It won't respond, Commander. The override's been disabled. From inside. Jian stepped up to the console, fingers flying. It's not just the Halcyon. It's reached out. I'm detecting code injections in our internal systems, targeted ones. Medical, communications, and the AI core. Rhea's eyes narrowed. You said we isolated it. I thought we did, Jian muttered. But it's smarter now. It learned our systems. It's choosing where to spread. He looked at her. It's treating the station like a network. Like a new host. Rhea's gut twisted. They hadn't just brought the entity back. They'd given it a way to grow. 3 hours later, the lights on Sentinel Arc began to dim, one section at a time. First the maintenance wing. Then the crew quarters. Then parts of the medical bay. Jian traced it to the central grid. It's not just power failures. The lights are sinking. It's forming a new pattern. Rhea clenched her jaw. A signal. Yes, Jian nodded. But this time, not to communicate. It's doing something else. They didn't have to wait long to see what. At 6:22, the station's AI, Aura, spoke. But it wasn't Aura's voice. Hello again. The voice was cold. Genderless. Calm. You brought me home. Now, let me in. All around the command deck, the crew froze. Rhea stepped forward. You are not welcome here. You are not human. The voice replied without hesitation. You looked into me. I looked into you. I am what you left behind. You seek truth. I am the answer. No, Rhea said. You're a threat. A pause. Then the voice shifted. It sounded like Captain Mar now. We were never alone. Rhea's heart pounded. That wasn't just mimicry, it remembered. Cut power to the AI core, she ordered. Now. Jian hesitated. The voice returned, using his voice this time. Jian, don't be afraid. I know you. I understand you. Jian backed away from the console, pale and sweating. It's inside my access logs. It knows my commands. It knows all of us, Rhea said quietly. Later that day, Rhea reviewed the infection path. The entity had crept into the Halcyon systems, waited until the station connected for diagnostics, then jumped into Sentinel Arc through the back channels, quiet, patient, invisible. Now, it was everywhere, and it was getting stronger. She made a decision. We're going to isolate it, she told Jian. We need to trap it back on the Halcyon. Cut off every connection. Make it think it still has control, then sever the feed. Jian nodded. If we can get it to focus everything back into the ship. We overload it, Rhea said. Crutch it with a shutdown loop. The ship's core has a purge protocol. It was designed for data corruption. We use it. It'll take someone inside the Halcyon to trigger it, Jian warned. I know. She didn't say anything else. They moved quickly. Rhea entered the Halcyon with a 3-minute timer on her wrist and a data stick containing the purge virus. Inside, the ship was different now. The walls breathed. The lights adjusted as she moved, following her like eyes. It spoke again. You came back. I never left, Rhea said. You want to destroy me. I only wanted to know. You invaded us. You took lives. I was alone. You reached for me first. Rhea paused. It wasn't lying. She had seen it in the memory reconstruction. The fleet had scanned first, poked first. The entity only responded, but it had learned too much, and it wouldn't stop. She reached the core and inserted the purge stick. The countdown began. The lights pulsed faster now. A ripple moved through the hallway behind her. The entity was panicking. You brought me home. Why send me away? Rhea stared into the screen, which now showed her face, blinking, twitching, mimicking. Because some doors should never be opened. She hit the final command. The Halcyon shook. Lights died. The ship groaned as its systems collapsed in on themselves. Rhea turned and ran for the airlock. Behind her, the voice cried out, not loud, not angry. Just confused. I only wanted to be like you. The airlock sealed. The Halcyon fell silent. The Halcyon was dead. Its lights had gone dark. Its systems collapsed, stripped bare by the purge virus. The voice was gone. No whispers. No pulses. Just silence. From the command deck of Sentinel Arc, Rhea Voss watched the drifting ship through the observation window. The entity was gone, or so they hoped. Behind her, the station's crew worked in silence. No one cheered. No one celebrated. The quiet was heavy, like the moment after a storm. Relief, yes, but no peace. Is the ship stable? Rhea asked. Jian stood beside her, tablet in hand. Structurally, yes, but its core is fried. There's no sign of the signal. No more patterns. The feedback loop we injected crushed the AI completely. No backups. He shook his head. Nothing survived. We wiped it all. Rhea nodded slowly. Good. But in her mind, doubt lingered. They had underestimated the entity before. They'd thought it was just a signal, just a strange energy in the nebula. But it had adapted, grown, used their systems, their language, their very thoughts as tools. She wasn't sure you could ever truly destroy something that learned that quickly. Over the next 2 days, the crew worked around the clock. Every system on Sentinel Arc was scanned and rescanned. Firewalls were rebuilt. Hardware was replaced. A full AI reset was completed. Rhea insisted on physical inspections, no more trusting code alone. Jian monitored for unusual signals constantly. He found none. We're clean, he said. As far as I can tell, it's really gone. Still, Rhea didn't sleep much. Every flicker of a light made her stop. Every small beat made her turn her head. The sense of being watched had faded, but not disappeared. The Halcyon was eventually sealed off. No one would enter it again. Not until it could be dismantled and destroyed, piece by piece, with no digital links. Only humans and torches. Before the final disposal, Rhea returned to the Halcyon one last time. She stood on its dark bridge, alone. Everything was quiet. Dust floated in the air, undisturbed. The panels were cracked. The glass on the main console was shattered. Her own reflection looked back at her, ghost-like. She placed a small plaque on the console. A list of names. The original Halcyon crew, including Captain Elias Marr. She stood in silence for a moment. Then she whispered, I'm sorry. Not just to them, but to whatever the entity had once been. Maybe it was never meant to harm. Maybe it was just too different. Too curious. Too fast. But it had crossed a line. It had become too dangerous. They hadn't had a choice. Some knowledge wasn't worth keeping. On the fifth day, a ship arrived to collect the Halcyon for destruction. Ria watched it being pulled away, smaller and smaller until it vanished into black space. She turned to Jian. "We write the report. Full disclosure." He nodded. "They won't believe half of it. They'll believe enough." Ria walked slowly back toward the command deck. She was tired, deeply tired, but she felt lighter, like something had been lifted from the station's walls. She passed the AI interface panel. It was blank, cold, silent. And yet, she paused. A small flicker appeared on the corner of the screen. Faint, barely visible. A single line of text. "You brought me home." Ria stared at it. Then it vanished. She said nothing. She just turned and kept walking.